EarthSpark. New season streaming June 7th on Paramount Plus.
All right, all right. Good evening. My name is Nigeria Chambers. I'm from Big Gold Belt Media City. It's a pleasure to talk to you today as I am super excited for the return of Transformers EarthSpark Season 2 coming back to Paramount Plus June 7th. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Because this is an audio recording, if you do not mind, please state your name and your diligence on this amazing show.
Sure. So I'm Sydney Mikayla, and I play Robby Malto on Transformers: EarthSpark.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time today. Um, wow, Robbie is a character that makes me kind of look back and say, like, man, I was a little problematic as a kid. And as we mature and start to really understand our own body autonomies and just the world around us, and in the world of Transformers, which we all love this IP, but ultimately a character like Robbie, we just connect with. For you, I just want to know, take me through the emotions when you first received the script, and I truly want to give you your flowers for your tremendous voice acting work. But I want to know all the way to the point when you were cast for Robbie, you was like, wait a minute, Robbie? And then ultimately just understanding his characters and as you as a woman, was there anything that you kind of learned about how much of a knucklehead us boys were when we were younger?
Oh man, that's such a great question. So to start, I remember auditioning for the role. Um, just kind of like reading the script. They didn't say what it was for, just because it was such a big project. So normally they don't say like what it is for those. But I knew I was auditioning for a boy, which doesn't really like bother me because I think it's just the beauty of voiceover work is like you kind of get to move outside of the, I guess barriers that physicality can sometimes put in place.
Yeah.
I can't really play a teenage boy in real life on camera, but voiceover acting is the one place where you can do that and a whole bunch of other crazy things, and it's just the magic of what you can create in the studio. So it was quite exciting when I did find out I got the role. I got to work with Christy Reed again, who is one of my favorite top 10 or like top yeah, she's amazing, amazing voiceover director. Like she's so incredible, and
Yeah.
just the way her mind, it's golden. It's amazing. I love working with her every single time. Um, but so that was really the process of like me actually like getting the role, and it was quite incredible. I'm trying to think of the other parts of your question.
Yeah, and just just understanding just how much of a knucklehead us boys were when we were younger. And we'll talk a little bit about the maturity in a second, but just your initial thoughts about him.
I think Robbie's actually quite mature for his age. I have little cousins, and you know what I mean? When they're like angry, they don't even communicate anything. They just like go straight to Fortnite. I'm like, okay, well, see you later. So, Robbie, I mean, I think they had to write him that way too, just so like we as the audience know what's going on, because I'm
Yeah.
sure if he like communicated like my little cousins, we would be like, what's happening in the story? Like, we have no idea what's going on. So,
Yeah.
no, but seriously, so I think Robbie actually has some like valid concerns and things he has to deal with. He's in a new space, but he's
Yeah.
also doing these amazing like bots, but also he still has rules and is still like living in a household where he's got to do his chores and the dishes and homework and all of those good things. So I think he's doing pretty good for a teenage boy. Like I'm not too much judgment, not too much judgment.
And nonetheless, it is a beautiful arc in its own because now really seeing him prioritizing family and even dropping that in this first episode that I checked out of this season. I'm just such a fan of Robbie because I just connect with him in so many different degrees. For you, talking a little bit about the voice acting work. Now, first thing, as you mentioned, voice acting is acting. That's sort of the Bible I live by here. But what's beautiful about animation is that, like, when you do the work, you know it's your voice, you know the script, you know the character, but ultimately when you see the animation, there must be a measure of shock factor because now you're seeing it all comes together. I'm curious now, just now looking back at the success of season one with the excitement of season two coming, just for you as the actor, when you see things come into place for this series, what's sort of your reactions to that?
I mean, it's quite incredible just to see it all come together. I really love all the aspects of it. I love the writing of the show and like seeing that aspect and then seeing all the drawings come together. The team's so great. They're always look, like you made this little drawing. Like we think it's gonna be this and that. Like they're super excited just to show everything. And I got the pleasure of going to Comic Con with the team too to New York and London with them as
Yeah,
well. So like getting to spend that extra time, just seeing how invested the whole team is in the show is just really quite beautiful. So yeah, just seeing it come together is just I really love it. It's
yeah,
unlike anything else you're gonna experience. So I think voice acting really just has that beauty to it, and
yeah,
I really think that the beauty of voice acting is also, and just like animation in general, is that it really does take time, and good things take time, and so I think that is tough in a world where everything can be created so quickly. So I do love
yeah,
that about animation as well, that there are so many drafts to get to the final draft, even though it's still on a timeline.
yeah.
There's so much thought put into every single stage, which is really important to me.
As a fan, I just want to say it's always so amazing and yeah, beautiful to see you all attend conventions such as New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, and I'm always excited when I see the slate of Paramount Plus properties appearing. So yes, I did get to attend New York Comic Con, so I'm glad you mentioned that. And that was just it for me. That's when I knew I was just going to be hooked on this from that point on. But as a huge Transformer fan, I got to say, what a time to be alive because this IP is heating up. This may be the hottest it's ever been in years. And I mean, first of all, we got Transformers 1 movie, we got the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover coming, the Transformers 40th anniversary, the movie 40th anniversary just passed. And then obviously with Transformers EarthSpark season 2 coming just around the corner. For you being a part of this IP and now this legacy, have you just sat back and maybe even pinch yourself living in this moment?
I mean, it's really incredible. I am super grateful. So I think maybe not had like a lot of time like just sit back and pinch myself, but I am very grateful and just journaling about that gratefulness a lot, especially during
Mm.
strike and everything like that, to be able to still have a way to have that outlet of like creativity and to be doing something that's so fun. Yeah, just a lot of gratefulness because it definitely has just been tough in those like seasons. So to still be able to have this and to be able to work on it has been very beautiful.
Mm, mm. I peeped that journaling tidbit in there too. That's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate that as somebody who's very pro therapy and really staying intact with mental health and positivity. So that it's good to hear that.
Yeah.
Um, Two other questions for you really quickly here. Your voice acting work is just tremendous, and we're going to talk a little bit more beyond just your voice acting work. 'Cause it's something I'm very excited to talk about when we wrap this up. But with Robbie, can you talk about some of the little tweaks and variations you take with Robbie in terms of being in the energy exosuit? The more relaxed to the more amped up version of him. And then the biggest question is he's maturing yet getting older. Are we actually going to see maybe you happen to dive a little bit deeper into this role? Has there been talks about aging at all with this character?
So good questions. So I feel like how I approach Robbie as an actor is I think a lot of people think that voice acting is actually just talking. I don't look at it that way. You still have to like have physicality and everything like that. You just can't hit the mic. LOL. So like yeah, if I'm gonna clap or like if I'm running, I really have to like run in the studio, but like do it in a way where like, you know, I'm not making too much noise, which has also been like a fun thing to like maneuver, like, oh no, I'm wearing a polyester jacket. Like, let me take this off. So it's like, not too loud. But I think
Yeah.
that's a really big thing. So yeah, I have to like ground myself a little bit more. My dad's also from Philly, so I think I used a lot of inspiration from that as well. And then in terms of aging, the truth of the matter is that, it takes such a beautifully long amount of time, I feel like, for it to be developed and in the most beautiful way because, it needs that time. That I think my voice just kind of like grows along with it. I mean, my voice is done kind of, you know, maturing, and that's pretty great. But yeah, I just kind of go or different registers should I need to. So it's not like a huge thing. And I think that's why a lot of times, women are cast for your favorite, teenage
You
boys,
you
shout out
you
to
daggone right about that.
all of those amazing people. So yeah, like it's not too difficult. If it is like just go lower, just go higher. It's not like a huge constituency. It's like, okay, boom, and it's just done. And then I
Yeah.
go, and yeah.
You better preach, girl. You better preach. Let them know you ain't just in there talking. You doing the work. I got to just say again, going back to just how hot Transformers is right now with the release of the Cybertruck, I'm very leery about it when I see it on the road. I'm like, first of all, that thing looks like a tank, but ultimately, I start getting suspicious because at any given point, I'm like, that thing is going to transform. I'm curious to you, or is it just in my wacky mind? Have you looked at any particular vehicles or anything and start to bring the two worlds together, thinking that it may transform? And if so, which type of car or vehicle, whatever it may be, that you're a little bit leery of?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think those cube cars that look like literal cubes. I don't know. Something's weird about that because like no one can fit in that. Who can fit in that? I don't know. But I don't know. Like I don't think that'd be like a very. I mean, Transformers bots come in all shapes and sizes, so maybe. But that just seems like such a like what crime could you fight? Like they're just so that'd be very small. Probably like no taller than maybe 6 feet.
Hey,
Like
but
a cube car. But yeah, that's my answer because I don't know. It just don't seem real. And I saw something thing the other day of someone like was mad at the cube car and like pushed it like with their hands, just like pushed it back so they could park. I
oh
don't know.
wow.
Yeah,
See,
I'm
it'd be,
probably
and it would just be that exact one, and then next thing you know.
that's the one. The car is just gonna be like, not today. Yeah, one.
Well, thank you to the good people at Paramount Plus. I did get to check out the first episode, but I gotta be curious now. What could you say about what we are in store for the remaining part of the season? What are we gonna get from Robby and overall?
Oh, good question. Good question. I think that you can be ready for Robby to just really come into his own as a hero. So that's all I can say without giving away too much. But I think
Yeah.
that he's got a beautiful journey ahead of him. Definitely.
Amazing, amazing. You're so very talented, and I truly appreciate the time today. I would be remiss with this remaining last second I have to ask you about something I'm very, very excited about, and that is Crybaby Bridge.
Oh
Not
my
only
gosh!
are you
What?
acting a producing role as well. I mean, how talented are you being able to put the producer hat on, have some control over your character and the production of the film? Talk to me a little bit about this. What can we expect?
Oh my gosh, you're actually the first person to like really ask about this. So thank you. I know we're going into press I think later like in the summer, so I'm very excited. But yes, it was my first like producing role as well as like starring in the movie. It's a horror film. I think it's pretty eerie, but some like fun crazy elements and it was really really amazing to shoot. So I'm very excited to like talk about that more as the time comes. But thank you for asking.
Absolutely. I'll be around to be here to talk about it with you. But until then, folks, for all the amazing work that Sydney has done thus far, we have a whole new season of Transformers EarthSpark season 2 coming to Paramount Plus starting June 7th. Sydney, thank you so much for your time. Much success on this season. And we'll be talking soon about that new project very, very soon.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time.
Ridiculous.